Here we go. Hi,
There we
well,
go.
good afternoon. Yeah.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
And
Just trying to
everybody's
stay
well and
safe.
safe. They're good. Just
Yeah.
the safest place is the piano. Just stay,
Yeah.
put the bathroom by the piano and have the refrigerator there in the bed and don't go
Next to the
anywhere.
bed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, and you're wiping the keys. That's always good. So,
yeah.
well, it's a different way to get your work done, but the Skype is really great. And this is how I've done it for like 13 years or more, just the
Oh wow.
headphones and the laptop. It works. And
Good.
yeah, it may be
Not really new thing for you, huh?
no, but it's effective and it really does work. And so anyway, and I like this view of the keyboard and I could see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's in some ways even, I mean, it's almost as though I was standing right next to you and hovering over you like a helicopter looking at what you're doing. But
Yeah.
it's not like that, but I see it that way. And sometimes, in a way, it gives us as teachers a better view of what you're really doing in and out of the keys. Because a lot of times, like Michael last week, I was teaching him. I said, a lot of your problem is that you just use half of the keyboard. And, he agreed. I said, use more of it. Go deep. The keys go all the way back. And it
Yeah.
really does change the way you utilize your arms and your wrists and your whole body to use the instrument more instead of just limited. Most people think that the white keys natural stop where the sharps and flats.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Well, so what do you have today?
Yeah. Barber Nocturne and Granger and maybe a little bit of Schubert second movement.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's do the barber. You gonna do it from
Okay.
memory? From memory, yeah.
Yeah. I'll try for memory for the first time.
Okay. I wonder if it's on IMSLP, is it still in copyright?
There is. It is. Yeah.
It's there?
I was wondering if I should send you a copy too. If you need it, I could do that.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to grab it right now as you're playing because I
Okay,
wasn't sure what you're playing today, but if I could get it there,
sure.
I'll pull it up on my phone. So
Okay,
then while you're playing, I could even look at the music if I need to here,
of course, yeah.
which would be very nice to do. But you sure it's on IMSLP? I think it's in copyright.
Uh, I pulled it up from there before I bought the score, the physical copy.
It's
But
19. Oh,
uh,
I will check. Yep, it says here IMSLP. Opus 33?
that sounds right. Yeah.
No, that's Alberto. No, that's the wrong composer. Well, anyway, I don't think that it is.
Uh,
But that's okay. I mean, I basically know the piece.
okay.
Um, Images.
I forgot where I pulled my electronic copy from.
Where did you get it from?
I'm trying to think. I thought it was from IMSLP, but it might be some other underground website.
Well, I got a little of it here, but all right.
Okay.
No worries. Let's just see what you got. Better. I remember.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So you see what happened is now you remember where the slip was. Remember that it's a 4/3 suspension. Will I remember? Okay, so and
Right. Yeah.
sometimes when you sing out loud when you're practicing, it reinforces within you where that note is on the piano. That's so
Right.
much better. Your playing is like more expressive now. I
You
guess
know, It's funny you mentioned that because that's how I guide myself in this piece, just kind of like how I've heard it, and like it's more that way. Like my memory, oral memory, tells me where to go sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but there's the lack of that clunkiness.
Ah,
Is much better at shaping. Now it's starting to really start shaping a little
yeah.
bit more. And
Ah,
and let's face it, what's going on with everything, it stirs up your emotions. You can't hide behind that. That's better. When you start though, I think you could play deeper into the keys, even with the left hand. Almost feel as though the keys make them feel like twice the weight. Give twice the weight to it. Don't be afraid to play really out. It doesn't have to be too precious sounding. It could be
okay.
full. You know, Barber's music is very woodsy. It's very rich. It's very warm and dark. So you
Yeah.
could really give. If he says piano, make it a healthy piano. A Barber piano is dynamic level is closer to between mezzo piano and mezzo forte because it already is stopped. Otherwise, it's too timid. Then you come out with a big theme. So start with something so you can make it more exotic when it resolves after that long F. But play out in the beginning. Make the right hand sound like maybe like even a viola sound or a cello. Oh yeah, a viola.
Yeah, I think that works.
Violins too bright, like a viola. Even a clarinet. But really, and when you have a long note, look at what I do. See what I did? I took all those beats, all those eighth notes to come around with my arm. Watch the arm go around to the C flat.
Mm,
And then always like you would conduct the beats that way. 1, 2, 3, around 2, 3, and 1. And that gives you, it increases, it makes the phrase happen. Instead of da da, stop. It doesn't
right.
stop, it keeps going. So your arm has to keep going to da da. See if you can do that.
Okay.
Just play out. Don't be, even if it's a little loud where you are, just play out.
Okay.
Both pedals down first. Okay, the reason why you missed that is because you're letting your fingers go up and your arm is not out. Get your elbow out around the phrase so that your fingers don't miss it. Your elbow has to be around it. Try just right there. And go sliding into the back of the keys. When you're up to that E flat, you should be all the way back to the C. Exactly. Do the thing with the elbow. Move your torso in that direction so your elbow can come around. Another way to do it is the old-fashioned build a brick one note at a time. Just do.
Right.
Try that. Just do one note at a time so you get the sensation of it physically. Awesome. To the right. More to the. See? It's really just little simple tweaks like that, how you use your body and how you go around the phrase, just like a conductor does. They phrase their body around because the orchestra's in front of them. So you have to kind of treat the piano that way. See? It's using your torso and your arms for the phrase. Phrase more with your body than you do with your fingers. If you try to just phrase with your fingers, it gets clunky.
Sure.
And I tried from the beginning. That was beautiful.
Yeah. A little bit nervous, so maybe that's why I messed it up too. But here we go.
Nothing to be nervous about. Stop. Wait. Okay, good. Now, let's fix something else. Let's fix this. When you start, I don't feel as though the groove of the eighth notes is quite there. It feels a little like, musical whiplash, like being pulled back, then moving forward, then back, then moving forward. That's it. And I think what you need to do is think immediately before you start. Think 1, 2, 1 and 2. Establish that fluidity and even eighth notes. It's like a Barker roll almost, more than a nocturne. It is like a Barker roll. 1, 2, 3. So think of the weak beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and very steady. You just play it straight, like a boat sailing.
Here we go.
Yep. 2. Now, shh. Perfect. Okay, stop. Now, watch that the left hand doesn't kind of lose what's happening. After a while, we start to hear the right hand and we forget that the left hand's even there. Make sure the left hand's always supportive harmonically. And also when you get to T, if you would sing a T, you wouldn't go da 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 da. It's too fast. Your vocal cord can't go that fast. So you don't want to rush that. I would sing that theme out loud when you practice. I think that was really good. That was some of the most expressive, natural, organic playing you've done since you started. That's good. It's getting there. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're getting it slowly. All right. Take it right from there.
Sure.
Rush. 1 and 2. Okay, well, that. Okay, so you have the same pattern twice.
Yeah, right.
The second one should be like a little glistening.
More ethereal.
Like it's almost like the fizzle of the fireworks at the end. They just fizzle out. More celestial with hues of purple and brown and yellow and orange. The color of that harmony. I took the music. Let me see if it's on here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, let's see if I can see that. Take a little time to see what I mean?
Yeah,
And
sure.
when you have those, that open the hand more so you could that. It's like you're flying through space. Play it in the air. It's like you have to also imagine this like set to ballet. This would be wonderful. I don't know if they've done it set to dance. Oh wow! She could just do that to modern dance. This would be a great.
Yeah, I can totally work that way.
Imagine it that way. Try it right there. It goes. Change the color and very piano, triple piano. You should put there.
That's the second time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
You see it jumping. You're jumping. I see, even from here, I could see, where is that? Come on. Yeah, but you're doing this. You're doing this. Jump, jump, instead of, oh gosh. Move your hand, move up.
Sliding and yeah.
It's the last 16th of each group of four. You're dropping and starting over. You do this. That's what we want. Two there, two there. See? Connect that instead of. Don't jump. Connect the last note of each group of four, the fourth, 16th in each beat, to the next one.
The next one.
You get this. Hello, doggy.
Sorry, my dog.
Good. That means you're playing well. I had students who the dog used to sit under the piano, and if the dog didn't like what she heard, she walked out. My teacher used to do that. So one day, the girl, she was a doctoral student. She was playing something, I don't know. The dog was under the piano, and the girl started playing. The dog walked out, and the girl, she stopped playing. She said, she was laughing. I said, "What's the matter?" She says, "I think I'm not playing well." I said, "Why? What's the matter?" She says, "The dog walked out." So let your dog bark. It's a good sign. So take it from there. That same. Here
we go.
Better. Good. Yeah. Okay. Watch that you don't get but two hands. Don't forget the notes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, continuity. Sing out loud when you practice. Fingers follow your voice. How many times I say that?
Always.
Well, it's true.
It's true.
That was better. That was so much better. Watch that you don't rush on a crescendo. We all do. If anything, especially when you're going down in notes, we tend to rush. So I always say when you go down in scales or in notes, feel as though you're climbing the mountain. You're going the other way. It's like that. You're going down, but you're doing that. It's very easy. It's natural. Gravity, we go faster. The ball goes up. When it comes down faster. Same thing in music. So you have to actually feel the opposite. When music descends, feel like you're climbing. It's just
like going against the current.
Yeah, exactly. That was better. Take it again from can you do thumb to? I'm a big advocate of changing fingers on the note. Silently 1, 5, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. I love connecting. I love pure legato.
Sure, yeah.
Need a pure legato in the fingers is important. The pedal can't legato with the pedal. Pedal enhances the sound, doesn't create the legato. Pedal does not connect the hammers.
Right.
Connect sound, but once hammer clunking is there, you could hear it out there, and you could tell if somebody's not pure legato. I watch pianists play some of them a lot of times. It's all detached, but that's not legato. So be careful. Just have contact with the instrument, with the keys. Keep going.
Well, you started that fingering out.
Yeah. And shake like you want. Yeah, exactly. Because I saw your fingers were moving and everything else was like blocked. Your job is to really exaggerate this. You're gonna feel like a clown for a few weeks, but after a while, you do too much, you could take away. It's easier to take away from too much than it is to try to add to it. So use this time while you're alone to look like a clown, like a marionette. Do it. Nobody's looking at you. Maybe the dog, but nobody else. And just it's important because it's easier to take away. You can trim the fat, but if there's no meat there, nothing to trim. So make sure you have Yeah, make sure you do exaggerate it. My teacher used to say that exaggerate it because then at least you have something to work from.
Sure.
You know. So you know, sort of never feel like you're tight, like you're in chains. We broke those chains. I think it's getting better. Take it from there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Slower. Crescendo. Ta, 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 ta. Like that shimmer. Don't rush. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Keep your tempo. You don't rush. The power of this piece is feeling like it's a tug of war. It's just like you're dragging something slow, not tug of war, just like you're pulling the train behind you, and just steady and steady. The intensity in this piece is the steadiness of the eighth notes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, makes
That's
sense.
what holds the intensity. You have nothing really else to hold the intensity with but the eighth note pulse flowing. Because
Okay.
if you start trying to do things with the rhythm for the melody, you ruin your pulse. Then you lose the intensity.
Okay.
Because the heartbeat, it's the heartbeat of the listener,
Yeah.
which is steady. If you try to get intense about it and change the rhythm, your listener's going to be lost because their heartbeat can't go with you.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Inhale and exhale is like every 3/8 notes.
Yeah.
It's almost like 58, 56 on the metronome. It's there, but whatever
Wow,
it is.
yeah, it says 58 exactly.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that. Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying the heart pulse. And yeah, sometimes you have to play not for yourself, but for the listener. And the listener's heart rate is what really, I never really got into that so much, but lately I'm finding, there's a lot to be said about tempos based on the listener's heart rate.
Yeah.
Because the pulse of the listener is going to dictate their intake of what you're doing.
Sure, you can play
And
with
they
too much.
can't fool around with the heart rate of the listener. Everybody's pulse is a little different. But basically, the norm of what you would choose for pulse. And that first measure, you either will have your listener or you won't. If you do too fast, you lost your listener. It's too fast for their breathing. In, out, holding in. So the F continues. You see what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, we could do even piano class, or that's something else I thought about, but now, of course, it's too late. Breathing and choosing pulse for your music based on the breathing of the listener. It totally changes the way you pick tempos. Totally. Totally.
It's good perspective to have, definitely.
I don't know if anybody even thinks of that.
Yeah, I never heard of that before.
No, well, I think about it because I know for myself when I'm listening to people play, I'm not getting it, you're too fast. It's not that you're playing too fast, it's that I can't breathe with you. Your listener has to breathe with you. All right, enough talk. Keep going from there.
Okay. Oh my God.
Okay. You need to feel this more instead of ba 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 ba. And also feel when this section starts, that was all good. Once that starts, keep very quietly. But by the fourth or fifth entrance of that theme, you got to start building some sound without rushing. Start to bring out the broken chord a little bit more to build sound and intensity without rushing. That'll make it even more intense. But I felt like it started to meander and didn't really go anywhere. It kind of flatlined after the third or fourth. You're like, where am I going? It's like you're pressing the gas pedal, but you're not going anywhere. Yeah. All right, so think about it. Just start that section again and feel like the car is going. You're driving. It's getting darker out. The storm is starting. It's getting darker. It's starting to build up. And you see lightning bolts, and then it starts to drizzle. And it's getting rainy, and then boom.
Right.
So you wouldn't go ba 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 ba. You go da 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 dee 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 dum. Think more this way, not this way.
Okay.
Start that section again. I think it'll be fine now. Yeah, it'll be good. Too loud, right? Too loud, right? Shake my hand with the arm. Bam. Louder, louder, left hand. Yeah, okay. So that was a little better. By the time you got to that big C thing, it's all right. It needed to be more of an explosion there. And then have a loose arm when you do it. You're too tight. Just phrase it in one. One of those octaves there, those octaves. You miss it each time. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's play the first one. I'll do this. Again. Go from up and back, go up, down and up. Yeah. Are you using 4 on the B flat? Are you using 4th finger or just octaves?
4.
All right. What if you just use pinky? Trying to lighten it. 4 is going to tighten it. Now do this. Don't think of stop. Think of da, 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 da. Crescendo to the low note. Da, 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 da. Do it again. This. Okay. Loosen your middle fingers when you do that. Just loose. Feel like you have a ball under your hand, and that your hand is loose, but you can hold the ball. You have firm fingers around the ball, but the hand inside is loose, not tight. Play it softly, just effortless. Next. Okay, now add the left hand, start a couple of measures before that. Just make it get louder and louder and more intense so that, I don't know how loud it is in your place there, but it should be, treat it like you're in a big hall here, you know, don't worry about it. If your piano is very loud in the room, you can always close the top and put the music rack on top of it.
Right. Okay. Good.
Never feel that you're inhibited to play out because it's too loud in the room. Because
Okay. Good point. Yeah.
chances are, when you're in a big concert hall or in another room, if you withheld yourself too much, it's going to sound very small. So better to make the piano softer and play out than worry about playing that you have to hold back.
Yeah.
A lot of
Right.
times, they say close the whole piano top, put the music rack. They'll take it out of the piano, put it on top of the closed piano.
I'll start doing that from now, definitely, because
It's like I get the sense that you're used to trying to hold back and it's too loud in the room.
yeah. Hmm.
You shouldn't.
Okay. Let me see from.
Yeah, feel that phrase is one. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-ba-ba-bum. Not that it ends on each long note.
Keep it going to the next.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, that's better. You have to feel that this section, once you get to that big chord, it's almost like two people are challenging each other.
Yeah.
And they're getting closer and closer. Then you have that boom, and they're trying to like, it's like wrestling there, and they're trying to separate them. You know, it's like that's the climax of that section.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a little violent in a way. They're trying to hurt each other. Ba-da-da-dum, da-dee-dee-dee, da-dee-dee-da, and then finally, bum ba dee ba 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 bum ba dee ba 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 bum ba dee ba ba. It's almost like you pushed him over the bad guy off the cliff.
Yeah. Wow,
So it's imagery. It's imagery. You can think of a million different scenarios. Take it from that big C major chord, bum, ba dee da dum. Very dramatic and very broad and very connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Right on that big C. Use your whole body weight for that sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you can retard in that too toward the end. But
Right.
it could be much more wild and all of it, you know, really erotic.
Yeah. Okay, let me
It's
see from
almost
there.
it's like somebody ejecting you from a plane and saying, "Okay, fly." You're like, "Ah, free fall."
Right.
Oh,
Hmm. Let me see
it's
from
actually like
next.
a dream. It's almost a nightmare part of the piece. Calm it down toward the end and retard. That's better though. Feel not so much going this way. Feel more horizontal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Going this way and that way, not down. It's very easy for a long note to feel down. Take it again from there.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's better. We're getting there. It's softer, slower.
Yeah, I started it too late, the read.
But you're aware of it now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay.
Now it's kind of like the calm after the storm again.
Sure.
And it could be a little quieter than the beginning too now.
Right.
more peaceful and flowing. Try it now. After that, after that. Okay. Okay. That's okay. When you start it again, start it a little quieter, maybe even a drop slower. But I think again, all that stuff, you have to feel like you're in outer space, you know. And you're seeing shooting stars go by, and you kind of, it's just like floating in space, being an astronaut. You have to feel more, you have to have a little bit more imagery, more color. It, I think you have to feel this. To me, this is good. I mean, somebody could say, if I said to a kid, what does this sound like? And the kid would say, a little kid, 8 years old, I don't know, I feel like I'm an astronaut in outer space and I'm looking at all the planets and the stars and, you know.
Yeah, totally.
You never know. If you played the same piece for three different children, you'd get three different responses.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what they're going to say.
Yeah, I should do that.
And there's no, sometimes the best things we learn are from the kids.
Yeah, really.
Well, because they're still, they have that imagination. They haven't been, you know, colored by the world. They have imagination, natural imagination. So that, I mean, if I were a little kid, I'd say that reminds me of floating through space.
Mm-hmm.
So try it when it comes in. Try it when it comes in again, and see if you could just invoke that sense of imagery. Imagery.
Okay. Mm.
You see, don't do that. Don't do that. The when you have
Ah,
your
okay.
your left hand is the boatsman. He's the one with the oars. One and two. You have to treat this as a nocturne. Who wrote the nocturnes? John Field and Chopin. Why did he write this? It sounds, if you say something, does that sound like this? Oh, that sounds like Chopin. Yeah, in a way it should. It's almost like Chopin came back from the grave. But the secret of Chopin rubato is the evenness and steadiness of the left hand with a beautiful, flexible singing line above it.
Right.
So think of it more Chopin-like, which
Mm.
came from Mozart, you know, of course.
Okay. See.
Take time. Pace. Pause. It's much better. It could slow down more to the end, those last three notes. When you have, you should just ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
Just like you're in the air. Da, 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 da. If you played that in the air, you wouldn't go You feel everything tight in your arm. Play it, just play it up above the piano. Da, 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 da. See what I mean?
You're right. Because I saw you do that, and it was like very
Light.
specific way it looks. So I've been trying to do that, but also, this piano is so heavy that sometimes I'm not getting that touch sometimes,
Well, even if you have to dig down, you should be able to just have a light, very light, very
Right.
light,
Uh-huh.
the whole arm.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
so much better. That's better. I don't want to waste too much more time on that.
Okay.
That's on the right track. It's all mindset when you play pieces like this. Direction, long lines, shape the phrase with the arm and the body.
Right.
Crescendo, don't rush the left hand. This
Right.
wants to sound more celestial. This is deeper. Crescendo when each theme comes in the center section, so you get to the climax. Things
Right.
like that. Yeah. After a while, it becomes second nature.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Good. So I wrote that down. What? Okay, next.
Well, you want to hear the Granger or the second movement of Schubert we did last week a little bit?
Schubert. Granger was fine, actually, doing that nicely, the Granger. Let's do
Yeah.
Schubert a little bit.
Yeah.
Main thing with the Schubert is the pulse.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think about before you play the first chord?
I try to think the 16 note subdivision
What?
because I noticed I was tending to hold the quarter note too long, so that just gives me the beat to keep steady through the 8 notes afterward.
It's almost like the piece starts before it starts.
Yeah.
I would give myself a free measure in my mind. Very, again, light. Schubert's piano, these instruments were light.
Yeah.
So much easier to play.
Right.
But use your left pedal and don't be afraid. So if you have to play out a little more on your piano, you do it, but don't. So think of that, and then let's hear.
Okay.
Okay, good. I like that. The tempo's good. I think you're trying to lock in, which tightens the note. Difference between and ah. You don't want you want ah, and ah is sliding. I actually start from back. Can you see? In slow motion.
From in, you mean?
Because you get 0.125 and you'll never not miss a note because you've already placed everything and you're down. Think more of sliding on the key down. By the time you get down to the bottom of the keys where you want to press down, you're already there. Do it one note at a time if you want to build a chord. It'll never have holes in it that way.
Let me try just once.
Yeah. I like that you did that. You stopped when you played it, you didn't like it, and you fixed it.
Yeah,
You already opened your
obviously
ears.
yeah.
This is what it's all about.
Okay, but I like that starting here and then pulling, because I was kind of like going in and pushing in a little bit, but opposite.
We don't push the piano. We draw sound from the piano.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't push the piano. It's not, you want to get to the strings. The closest you're going to get to that are here. If you treat the keys like this, like an extension of the strings, you should actually remember that more. The keys are an extension of the strings.
Yeah.
Then it changes the way you get sound.
Okay, let me try that then.
And that was not bad. The second After the first beat, it was good. The first beat, I just need a little bit more. Think, your brain has to think pinky. Make your brain say fifth finger. Your brain has to say fifth finger. Okay, better. Now, first measure is the most important. The rest of the piece plays itself.
Yeah.
And a one E and a two. That's what you have to get. And a one E and
Okay, here we
a
go.
two. You get your tempo from your upbeat. And a one E and a two. And okay, now make sure that the resolution. What was wrong with it? You're shaking your head. I want you to tell me.
The B to the A was kind of like not clear.
There you go.
Right.
My job's done. No, because now that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's true. The teacher, you know, my job is to get you to teach yourself.
Yeah. True. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Too long on the quarter. I'm going to be a pain in the butt on it. And the one and the two. The first note is your pulse already. You're playing the piece before you play the first chord.
Right.
Take your time. Don't rush. I'm not going anywhere. Feel that measure. No, the problem is, you know why you're not happy with it. You're doing the prep and then you're going on the key and staying there. Your prep has to be for the chord. Watch. I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 3 and 1. Up and down. So the up is for the down. Up and down. You can even say that out loud if you want. Up and down. Say it out loud. Up and down, 2.
Up and here we go. Up and down. Up and
Now you got it. Now the thing is, we want to make it sound musical. So up and sing.
yeah.
T. Now say this, up and T. Say the word T, but say the T before you play that first note. That makes it sing. Up and T. T. It's like saying the word T before you get to it. That makes it sing. My teacher used to do that, and I'll tell you. Never had I heard a singing sound like that. And just sing the T before the note. I used to hear her do that. I said, "What are you doing?" And I was just thinking, "Oh, now I would try it." And I say, "Oh, that's how you get that sumptuous singing sound because you're feeling it and singing it before you create it, which creates it."
Yeah.
Secrets to how to get a singing sound. That's one of them. It works. It works.
Let me try that. Okay.
Try that.
Here we go. Up and see. Okay. One and up and see. Okay. It's getting there. I see what you mean. Yeah. Here we go. Up and see. Okay. Here we go. Up and see.
That's good. Just don't hold the long note. Don't hold the first note for so long because it sounds like it's on its own. Up and T. Don't say C. It's just a T. Up and T. The word T, like iced tea. Up and T. You don't have to say it too loud. Up and T. Whisper it. Up and 2. If you know what you're doing, and you feel at the same time, it's a combination of heart and brain.
Yeah,
And
right.
then you could do it. You're getting there. This is, you are getting it.
Yeah.
Try it. See, it's kind of fun. Slide. Take a slide from the back, up, and pull it down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now you have to feel more like a cat, claw,
Yeah.
almost like you're gonna claw the keys. Pull it. It's like a cat does that, like claw, like that. That's
It's
what
like clawing in the sand, like wet sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
Before it works. Phrase over the bar and phrase over the. Okay, this is better. That's better. Don't think of it as stopping on chords. Think of it phrase over the bar and keep going. And over the bar line and to phrase over the bar to T. Phrase over the bar, T over the. You could do it a million ways. You could do it all kinds of different things. Once you know what you're doing, you could, if you feel the tree bends a little and the leaf goes like that, you could do it within the phrase.
Right.
You could I mean, different things you can do, or got louder. Depends on the piano, depends on your mood, depends on where you are. There's variables to it.
Right. But I like that though.
But get used to this. And that. All right?
Okay. Here we go. I'll try one more time.
Yeah. Two. Okay, good. That's better. Do me a favor. One time, last time, I want you to feel like your arms have no weight, that you're in a rocket in space, or you're just you're floating in space. Float it more. See if that happens. Just floating. Good fingers, slide, use the piano, but the arms float. Floating arm technique, whatever they call it.
Yeah. Okay.
Good, stop. You got it.
Work on that a lot, definitely.
I wouldn't dispute that at all. I think that's a big leap. All right. So I think somebody's at 2:30. I'll stop the recording and I'll say goodbye. So good work.